Hi, Steve. Kerr Burke, NBC Sports Bay Area. How spirited was that halftime discussion? How were you guys able to flip the script in the third quarter?
Yeah, it was all about my halftime speech, Gareth, for sure. No, you know what? I think we went into halftime feeling like we probably should have been up 10 points. We had just a couple mistakes here and there that keeping us from extending a lead. And then I thought we really, got it going in the third, energy-wise, at both ends of the floor. Obviously, Steph just took over, and he had a really interesting stat line. He had 2 assists, and I'm guessing he accounted for 50, 60 points with all the slips and, dunks we were getting off of 2 guys jumping out at Steph. The way he impacts the game is just so dramatic, whether he has the ball or not. And he just continually, gets the ball out of his hands when people double or triple team him, and he allows everybody else to make plays. So I thought Steph was tremendous, and everybody else brought the energy. I thought Eric Paschall had a fantastic game. He really got us going in the second quarter with some driving kicks, and I thought that carried over, and it turned into one of our best passing games of the year. A lot of great drive and kick possessions where we just got each other good looks.
Steph finished the trip 149 points on 85 shots. Did it remind you at all? Remember, he had a crazy road trip during that unanimous MVP season. Does the streak he's on now remind you at all?
There have been so many Steph stretches over the years. I don't remember that one. I think that's part of Steph's brilliance, is that he just constantly amazes you to the point where you almost take it for granted. I do think, and maybe it's circumstantial given the injuries and the fact that he's playing with a different group of guys, but this is the best I've ever seen him, just from a confidence and a strength standpoint. He's and that's saying something. Obviously, 2-time MVP, but I don't think I've ever seen him look better.
How much of this small ball stuff are you going to want to continue doing even when you get some of these centers back in the lineup?
Well, it's a good question, Wes. I think every game is different, and we definitely need to find pockets during the game to play Draymond at the 5. He's now in a really good groove. His conditioning is where he needs it to be, and he had an amazing road trip, just handling the ball and directing our offense, directing our defense. So we've got to find some pockets where we do go small, and we'll just have to figure that out.
If I can follow
Floor
up
is
on
AP.
Go ahead.
I asked Steph this last night, Coach, and from your perspective, what are the challenges or the benefits to playing a team back to back? Does it even factor in, or can you take anything from one or the other?
Yeah, I like it from a coaching standpoint. It's kind of fun. It's a little bit like a playoff series where you watch the film, you figure out some adjustments, you think of a couple actions that you might run to counteract what they did to you in the first game, and vice versa. And there's a little bit more of a chess match than there would be if you weren't on a back-to-back. And it's also good for young players because they get to watch their mistakes from the first game, and you get to coach them and see where they make those improvements.
I wanted to follow up on Wes's question about small ball. How do you think your guys handled on this road trip the physical demands of playing small and being short-handed?
I think they handled it really well. Juan gave us great minutes. It's good to get Eric back the last couple of games and have him help us. He's such a strong, powerful player that he really helps when we are shorthanded on the front line. But everybody, I thought, really competed like crazy on this road trip, and it's good to be able to go home 2-2. 2-2. We could have been better, but I think anytime you go out on the road, especially where we are right now in our development as a team, 2-2 is good, and I'm still believing that we are close to sort of tipping the scales and finding a little momentum. I really believe that, but we have to prove that.
Hi, Steve. Maria Vidal for Top Deportes in Latin America. Speaking of these 2-2 that you've just mentioned, how would you describe this mini-series against the Spurs? And what would your overall evaluation of the team's trip in Texas be? Thank you.
Well, I think the Spurs are always a good test because they make you play well. If you want to win the game, you have to play well. And you have to do everything well. And the other night, we did a lot of things well, but we didn't take care of the ball, and that cost us the game. And, it's good for a team like ours to have to feel that. And I thought we made big strides tonight, played a much better game, really took care of the ball, and played better defense. And, that's the lesson. They're always going to be rock solid. So just to make sure you have to play a good game to beat them, that's beneficial for a team.
Steve, to follow up on Steph, you've said many times his play can leave you in awe. You obviously played with Michael a lot. Did Steph's shot, that crazy behind the back one that he put up at the end of the first quarter, remind you of what you've seen in the past?
That play was sort of Jordan-esque. I saw him make that move many times. Go to the rim, get fouled, and just kind of flick it backwards. He didn't always make it, but he liked doing that shot, and that was an incredible example of body control and touch and feel. What an amazing shot.
Steve, Draymond's averaging 7.7 assists per game. It's a career high. What have you seen from him as a passer this year, and where would you rank Draymond amongst passing big men?
Well, obviously, he and Steph have a special connection, and their pick and roll game is special because they're both very dynamic within the play itself. They have a lot of different options out of it that they have sort of figured out on their own over the years. Draymond is great at flipping the screen. He's great at finding the pocket when Steph is double teamed. Steph is amazing at finding Draymond and getting that pass in the middle of the defense where Draymond can then turn it into a 4-on-3, and Draymond is really, really good at finding the open shooter, and so it's just fun to watch them work together, and it's one of Draymond's best attributes. He's a fantastic passer, and he takes great pride in it.
Steve, did you consider at all not putting Steph and Draymond back in the game?
Yeah, we considered it, but I had heard so much from our fan base the last couple of days. I just decided I should really put them back in to keep everybody happy.
Steve, you had early in the year you had this idea of a top 10 defense, so you must have had some thoughts of how it work out. As you see him now, did anything kind of defensively surprise you? Anything come out of nowhere you probably didn't expect to work so well that did?
Not really, Marcus. I mean, this is why I expected us to be a top 10 defense, because we have the capability. We have, I think, the best defender in the league in Draymond, a guy who can guard 1 through 5 and also orchestrate the whole team as he's doing it. And we're filled with athletic guys, length. So we have the capability, and I think we're really showing it. I believe we're now top 10 from an efficiency standpoint, and obviously we're excited to get James back. It'll change the look, but as James continues to grow, we should only be better defensively with his athleticism and length. So it's exciting, and it's, I think, probably the the main focus this year is really trying to return to being a premier defensive team, because that can set us up to be competitive at an elite level, not only this year but beyond. So that's the focus.
Steve, do you plan on watching the G League game tomorrow morning? And if so, what is like your communication with the guys while they're on assignment?
I will watch it. I've got it recorded. I'll be asleep when it comes on. We get back really late tonight, so I'll watch it once I get up. But I've texted a little bit with Nico and Jordan, and I've talked to my son who's down there as well, and they've had practices and scrimmages, and all going well so far. So I'm sure they're all excited to play a game.
Steve, way before, a couple of weeks ago, you're talking about just balancing of developing James while also winning and stuff. And tonight you talked about how moving forward, you do want to find some minutes for Draymond at the 5. Were you ever planning on going small this season before it became a necessity?
Yeah, we over the last 6 years, it's been one of our strengths was Draymond at the 5 for basically the last 5 or 6 minutes of the half and then of the game. And we felt like once Draymond was in condition and really ready to play heavy minutes, that we were going to get to that. So obviously we weren't ready for that early in the season, but the injuries sort of forced our hand, and Draymond is showing why he's so brilliant playing that center.
Steve, you're 4-8 against Pops in San Antonio since you got to Golden State. Where would you rank this win against the other 3?
Definitely third. I don't remember any of them.
Are you optimistic James can return Thursday?
I have no idea. He will be reevaluated Thursday by the doctor, and we'll see then. But he has been getting some good court work and conditioning stuff, and so I am optimistic that as soon as he's cleared, he'll be back out there.
Regarding Pop, when you guys built that 21-point lead in the third quarter, or even post-game, did he shoot you a look or say anything to you?
No, but he told me after the game that he had been considering Steph for the Olympic team. But he said after the way Steph embarrassed him tonight, he's no longer in consideration. So he did share that with me. Thanks, guys. See you later.